We started working with parents in the early 1990s. It was a group of parents of struggling teenagers, and of course struggling teenagers and their parents have a struggling relationship, and these were parents who were coming for encouragement, for some tools, and really for some inspiration about this relationship with their kids. And it was in those early days that we developed this thing we call now the Connected Families Framework, and we focused on connecting well with our kids, letting them know they're loved, and being proactive to teach and train them up in what God created them for, and to correct them in love through a lens of wisdom, not a lens of control. And very quickly there were a group of parents that, as we laid this framework out, started learning and growing and being excited, and they'd come week after week with stories of how their new approach was really effective with their kids. And then there was this other group of parents who was struggling, and they would come back and say, I tried that and it didn't work. And it became clear that there were really sort of two different focuses of these two different groups. One of the groups was focusing on what should I do? And they came looking for a new method to control or manage their kids' behavior. This other group, well, what to do was an important part of the formula. They were willing to grapple with and wrestle with a deeper question, which we think is the question that's at the essence of building a strong foundation. And the question is, what's going on? What's going on with me? What's going on with my children? What am I thinking? What am I feeling? How can I be a parent who's growing? And recently we've heard a reframing of the Serenity Prayer, which many of you might be familiar with. And the reframing goes like this: God, grant me the serenity to accept the people I can't change, the courage to change the one I can, and the wisdom to know that person is me. These were parents who were comfortable with this journey of changing themselves, if you will. And that's what growing a strong foundation is all about.
When I first started to parent 3 young children, I found myself looking for that "what should I do" answer, and it got me nowhere fast. And I found myself face down on the carpet crying out to God, just pounding the carpet saying, why did you make them like this? They were very lively and intense. And why did you make me like this?
You were also very lively and intense.
I feel like I'm angry all the time. And the Lord just gently, over time, just encouraged me and helped me to look at what was going on in my life, which was a lot of rigidity, perfectionism. I want things just my way, and we'll call it being obedient children. And so I had to look at all that yuck, and it was a process of journaling, of prayer, of looking in God's Word, of talking to Jim, of just seeing other resources about what goes on in the heart of a parent. And so over time, I really began to let go of some of that need for selfish control and truly embrace my children as miracles of God, and teach myself to hold on to true faith-filled thoughts about them instead of my judgments. This was a long process, but through it all, I really sensed God's purposes working in me and in our family to bring faith alive in the real messes of family life.
We talk a lot on this site about things you can do as a parent to be more effective, but it's all grounded in this idea of being a parent who's growing a strong foundation. Never perfect, never fully arrived, but always grappling with this question, what's going on? And then taking the to-dos that you learn and trying them, but understanding we're not going to tell you the magic pill for dealing with kids who don't put their socks away or won't eat the food you serve them. We're going to give you some ideas, some methods that we've seen other parents use, but really we've found they're only effective when you're working on building a strong foundation.